Well, hello, lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jamie, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. This is my personal channel over here. I do have a main channel where we talk about all things wedding, but here is where I get to do fun lifestyle type content. And in today's video, we are going to be doing part 1 of a plant tour. And yes, I have so many that it had to be separated into 2 videos. Now, I'm gonna say for the record, I am no plant expert. I am just an over-enthusiastic collector. Like, I stinking love plants. So I thought, why the heck not? Let's do a plant tour. What I didn't realize is that it would turn into 2 videos. So this is part 1. Obviously, because you already saw the title, and I'm excited to share my collection with you. I don't even know how many plants I have because I honestly haven't even finished editing part 2 of this, but I did do a little plant counter that you'll see in the upper corner to kind of keep track of all the plants that I've got going on. I didn't count all of my propagations because 1, I don't know if they technically qualify as plants yet, and 2, I didn't want the end number to make me look like a crazy person. Although it's probably going to do that anyways. We're just, you know, lowering the scale of crazy. You know what I mean? I also did my best to list both the scientific name and the common name for the plants. Let me just be clear though, I could be wrong on a lot of these names. I did some Googling. I reached out to some planty friends for some of these. But who knows? I could be slightly wrong. So let's give a little grace on that one because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay? Okay. I also want to say that a lot of these plants are not perfect. They could have used some trimming and dusting and overall gussying up before filming this video, but as you're about to see, there's so many of them, and I didn't have the time to make them all pretty before filming this. So hopefully my collection will make you feel great about yours. If not, it makes you feel a little bit more normal about having some plants that are a wee bit wonky, and that's okay, because that's nature for you. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it.
Darling, you.
Okay, so to kick off the tour, one thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to say where the windows are, basically, so you guys can know which direction the sunlight's coming from. So starting right here, we have a philodendron Salome, I think. Salome? I don't know. That one's a little difficult to say. This is an eastern-facing window, and it does get filtered light, but never any direct light. My guess is it's a little stretched out because not quite enough, but he keeps producing new leaves, so he seems happy. And then another eastern-facing window here, eastern, and then south-facing window here. So right here, we have a China doll tree that recently got a trim. This guy's been through the ringer. He's had mealybugs, he's had spider mites, probably fungus gnats a time or 2. And so I was seeing a lot of not so great growth, so I chopped here and down there, and now it's sprouted out a bunch of new branches, which is super fun. Panning over here, we have my collection of air plants, or at least quite a few of them. What I love about air plants is because they don't need soil, you can do more artistic things with them. So these I chose to place in a lot of my thrifted candlesticks. All right, this is where it gets heavy. Whew, prepare yourselves. So in this eastern facing window, we have a Peperomia prostrata, which is also known as a string of turtles. These are actually flowers. So this guy is quite happy in this window. Look how long this is. You're cute. And then a string of pearls cutting. Wow, you can really see how cute our backyard is. String of pearls cutting that's also thriving in this window. Panning on down, an Alocasia regal shields, which just has the most gorgeous purple underside to the leaves. I've had this guy for about a year. It just keeps on putting out new growth like a champion. We do have a humidifier running 24/7 in here too. This is a Monstera deliciosa. I got this for like $14 at a grocery store, and it is straight up massive. I've already repotted it twice. And look, oh, you're squished. Are you okay? Sorry, but so much new growth all the time. A philodendron hederaceum, a heart-shaped philodendron. That again, got a haircut. I did do a lot of trimming before I filmed this. This had runners that were an additional, I don't know, like 2 feet going down below. Up there we have a snake plant, a Boston fern that is just the happiest little camper. Again, right next to the south-facing window. Right here we have another string of pearls that still is, got some decent flowers on it. Some of them are starting to die, but that's okay. just so happy to see it flowering. Like I just feel so special that it flowered for me. You're so kind. And then down here, we have a variegated peace lily, which I actually for a long time didn't even know it was a peace lily, but hey. I'm surprised that this thing is doing as well as it is. More new growth points right here and right here. It has flowered about once or twice for me, but obviously currently doesn't have any. Panning over to the side, we have a Monstera Adansonii. This one is actually fairly new to my collection. While I do have other ones of these, I saw this at the store a couple weeks ago and I had to get it because the size of these leaves is just, they're massive. They're insane, so I couldn't pass it up. I threw in the top of a very small tomato cage to help it kind of trellis up in hopes that it will continue to produce really big leaves for me. I have 2 Pelea peperomioides plants. I've been struggling with these guys. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Really struggling to find the right watering routine. I know I'm not over watering. I definitely let these guys dry out a lot. I was talking with a plant friend of mine whose leaves were also turning a lot more pale, because that's what I'm kind of experiencing with these guys. And the best that we could come up with is that there was some sort of deficiency, but honestly, kind of at a loss. So there's 2 of them right here with plenty of pups in both of them. And I actually did go through and removed quite a few recently, but still a ton happening down there. Some cuttings right in here. So this is a Philodendron Brazil cream, I think. Not a silver stripe, but a cream. So it's the same, basically same type of plant as the one that's hanging up over there. But this one has beautiful cream colored markings on it. And then right here, I have my neon Philodendron, which this is a cutting from a plant that's kind of struggling upstairs. You can see there's some new growth down under the water, which is cool. And then I don't know if you guys know this, but spider plant babies actually produce their own rooting hormone. So sometimes when I'm rooting plants, I will toss a spider plant baby in there to help them root just a little bit better. And they're just both in water. Okay, so now coming on over to this wall, we have an Alocasia odora variegata, which when it's outside will actually get more white colored variegation, but my guess is it's just not getting quite enough sunlight to pull off the white. So instead we're getting this yellowy, creamy colored, but look at that. Look at you, you're so cute. Here is one of several fiddle leaf figs. I have not been consistent on the watering with this guy, which is why we've got a couple of more stunted leaf sizes. Hasn't put out any new growth for me in a while, but hoping when the weather warms up that it will. Up here in the corner, we have a Ceropegia woodii, or a string of hearts. What's kind of cool about this one is actually it was in a darker light location, so you can see that there's a lot of distance between the leaves up there. But as you come down here, this is all what happened when I moved it next to a south-facing window. In fact, you can almost see the difference in the type of leaves. This was the older leaf, this is the newer leaf, all because I moved it to a higher light location, which is rad. This is a Philodendron Rojo Congo, which just has massive leaves. Let me see if I can like, for comparison. Oh yeah, I got a Band-Aid because I hurt myself. Which I probably should have cleaned before filming a plant tour, but hey, it is what it is. I got that guy in a really, really tall stand. So I like that it adds some height, kind of build up over here. Oh, my pride and stinking joy. If you guys have been around for a minute, you know I love wood-mounted plants. I'm gonna turn off that light so it's less distracting. Hold please. But before we get up there, here is a bird's nest fern, otherwise known as like a crispy wave fern. I do have a couple different varieties of this. I've got this one and then another one that's over there in the room. A small, oh, that's a piece of a popped balloon, fun, fun. A small little Pelea peperomioides. Wow, I need to dust. Y'all are just gonna see lots of my house. So on this wall, I have a bunch of different platyceriums, which is the scientific name for staghorn ferns. So starting with this one down here, I mounted it on a piece of wood that I should not have because within the first 1 or 2 waterings, it did split. So I do need to remount this one. I believe that this is a Platycerium grande, but I can't quite tell. I do have some super bums and sometimes they're a little hard to tell the difference. But happy new growth happening right here. This was all damage from, that was already there from when I bought it from the plant shop. So I'm happy to see that the new growth is coming in strong. Right here, we have a Platycerium Mickey's Rainbow, a rickrack cactus with a new point of growth. It looks a little atoliated, which basically means like sometimes plants will stretch and get really skinny with looking for light. So I'm hoping it'll be okay. It'll be interesting to see if this new growth fills out and becomes thicker like the rest of these pieces. And then right here, a Platycerium bifurcatum, which is a standard staghorn fern that you see basically everywhere. Another Platycerium bifurcatum. Man, I don't know how to go from here. Okay, wait. This is a type of Ripsalis. I don't know which kind it is. It is a jungle cactus, also known as old man's beard. It's mounted to a piece of cork, which actually I really prefer when plants are mounted to cork because it dries so much more quickly than some of these wood pieces do. Here is another Platycerium grande, I believe. Another Platycerium bifurcatum. This, I think, is a Platycerium superbum. Not doing great, but we do see some great new growth point up there. Another rickrack cactus, Hoya wayetii, which I'm strongly considering pulling off the wood mount because it's fine, it's surviving, but it's not loving life. And last but not least, we have a rabbit foot's fern, which I call this one Aragog because, you know, reminds me of the spider from Harry Potter, if you didn't know. This is also an epiphytic plant, much like all of these are. And basically what that means is in their natural habitat, their roots will attach to the wood or the bark of trees as they grow as a means of kind of protecting themselves from the elements and, yeah, growing a lot further. This plant also propagates itself by sending out little leaves on these roots, which is pretty stinking cool. So all of these plants are epiphytic, which means they will all grow onto the wood, their roots or their shield fronds will, which you can see really, really clearly. With this one right here, these shield fronds are growing and eventually will grow up and attach onto the wood. Now coming on over here, we have another China doll plant. This one was like 7 feet tall. It did get spider mites as well, so it got a chop recently, but we are seeing some new growth, which is super fun. I do find these plants to be very specific and not super forgiving. You can see right here, we've got some growth that's not the cutest, probably should be trimmed off, but in other locations we're still seeing a lot of great activity from this plant. And bear in mind, this is really far away from a south-facing window and really far away from an east-facing window. So I would say this is medium to low light location and still doing quite well. And here is another bird's nest fern, much like the one that's over there. It's in the same family, but this just has a different leaf shape. This is pretty far. Both of these are pretty far from any sort of window exposure, but it's popping out new growth. I'm just so proud of you. You're doing so good. This one had scale when I first got it, and we were able to defeat that, which I was really happy about. Now we are in my propagation station. These lights flicker pretty aggressively, which is really annoying. But that's because these are dimmable, these are supposed to be dimmable and those aren't dimmable bulbs. That's the only thing I can think of. So I'll try to make this part pretty quick. We do have a begonia right here, super far away from the grow lights, but seems to be doing beautifully. Peperomia pink lady cuttings that are not great, but to be honest, these are so easy to propagate that I've done it multiple times. A peperomia, oh gosh, I don't know. Another Platycerium grande that again is super far away from those grow lights up above, but still popping out new growth. I do plan on mounting that one soon. That's just sphagnum moss with nothing in it. Here's a pothos that met an untimely demise, so we're seeing if we can bring it back. A couple more propagations, just pieces that I'm trying out. A huge collection of pothos cuttings. You guys will see that I do have quite a few. What is that? You guys will see that I have quite a few golden pothos in my home, and some of them were getting pretty long, so I thought, let's just toss them all in a jar and make a new plant out of it, right? A watermelon peperomia. This was the original leaf, and then here are some of the new ones coming through with a pretty healthy root system in there. Monstera adansonii cutting, philodendron micans, which I just moved over to sphagnum moss, so this leaf is actually dying off at the moment, but we'll see how that goes moving forward. Pearls and jade pothos, some string of heart cuttings, rooting in water, variegated string of heart, and then these pieces are Monstera standeliana and Monstera adansonii that are actually rooting in that pink vase over there. The cutest little taniki you ever did see. This was actually on a mother plant and just a little offshoot, and so I potted it up into its own little thing. Probably needs to go into a bigger pot soon, but look how cute those tiny leaves are. Look it. Monstera Adansonii, these were all cuttings. And then threw it into the pot together. A couple of sad spider plant babies, but are rooting really, really well. Pelia peperomioides. This came off the plant, the trimmings that I was telling you about in the living room. Cuttings from a philodendron Brazil. That is a reverted pink princess, which means I don't quite know what it is. This got spider mites really bad, so I actually chopped it off and stuck it in sphagnum moss to hope to get it to reroot. And then the only piece of Trandescantia zebrina that I have, this plant honestly drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. I don't know why I don't just like toss it outside, but it's completely neglected. It has little to no green variegation left on it whatsoever, but for some reason I'm hanging on to it. So this is not the attractive portion of the plant tour for sure, but I always love propagating things, so I like having them in this cabinet, again with the grow lights up top, and they all seem to be doing really well. Okay, so now coming into the kitchen and family room space, again with a bunch of south-facing windows. We do have a western-facing back door right there and a western-facing window here as well, which as you can see, it's in the afternoon, so we got the light pouring in from that direction. So let's go ahead and start off in the kitchen. I do have a golden pothos up there, along with a collection of things that should probably be tended to, but regardless, there she is, looking cute. Right here, I have another air plant in a cloche on top of yet another candlestick. This is, I think, a lemon lime Dracaena. That just is the most unique and wonky shape. I got this on sale and I stinking love it. I don't mind Dracaenas, like for the most part, they don't do anything for me, but this little dainty thing is just love and life underneath these fluorescent bulbs. Panning over here, yet another pothos. I believe this one would be a golden pothos if it was given more light, because you can see a teeny bit of variegation right here. But because he's tucked into this dark low corner, happy as can be, still putting out new growth, but obviously because there's not enough exposure to light, there's not going to be any variegation here. Here is a Syngonium. That's an older leaf that probably should have been trimmed off before I started filming. Cool, cool, cool. This plant has been struggling with mealybugs recently, so those 2 new leaves were just decimated. So I'll need to go through, trim him up. I've been treating with a spray treatment and it seems to be working, but unfortunately it just means he's a little less cute right now. Here's one of my newest babies, which I'm very happy about. This is a philodendron mamai, not entirely sure on the name. Definitely got a little beat up during shipping. Actually came with 2 leaves and now we're down to 1, but that's to be expected when you order plants. You're gonna lose some leaves when you get them home because they are used to a different environment than your home provides. This was already here when I got it, so I'm not quite sure if we're gonna get a new growth point here, but we're just slowly nursing it, waiting for it to enjoy its new surroundings. I will probably move this out from underneath the fluorescent bulbs pretty soon, and also so I can just enjoy it in another space. We have some Marimo moss balls. There's a couple in here. There's 3 of them. A Schefflera, a dwarf Schefflera, which has grown up so tall. Look at that cute new growth point. It looks like a little hand. But these fluorescent lights seem to be really working for this guy. But we might need to find a new home soon because it's real tall. Another spider plant baby. No clue why this is here. It just is. Super healthy root system, so probably need to pot that up really soon. Now panning over here, we do have quite the collection. We have a Ficus elastica taniki, and I really love this one. It's just so pretty. A philodendron Brazil. This was all cuttings. Wait, let me show you this. This is nuts. Come here. Look at this. This was all cuttings that I grouped together into this pot. This one leaf barely has any dark green at all whatsoever. And this super long vine that I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim up just because I don't want the kids knocking into it when they're trying to get some fruit. A Pelia peperomioides. This is one that I trimmed off recently that's rooting in water. Probably needs to be potted up soon. Another watermelon peperomia cutting, doing super well. String of hearts. And here is yet another peperomia. You can tell because it's got the same flowers as the one in the front room. I will say it feels like this guy just never wants to do well. Sometimes he does fine and then sometimes he just drops a bunch of leaves. I don't know what you want, but then you flower. So like you're happy, but you're mad. I understand you have feelings in this time, but if you could just get your act together, that would also be cool. Thanks. Okay, so I'm now standing up on my kitchen bench. This is a Philodendron gloriosum. Again, I also got this in the same shipment as the Mamey. And we're down to 1 leaf. I do think it'll end up doing really well right here with this south facing window. Definitely still have some damage on the leaf, but it's beautiful and it looks so velvety. It's insane. We have a Peperomia Pink Lady. This all came off of a single leaf cutting propagation, which is so cool. Love the bright pink coloration of this. I'm not super drawn to pink plants in general. I do have quite a few, but I gotta say, like, if I had to pick, this is one of my faves. Wow, so surprised. Another Pelea peperomioides. Wow, what a shocker. Another Cerepegia woodii, or string of hearts. And then here is actually one of my more successful Pelea peperomioides mother plants. This one is definitely a lot leggier than some of the others. It spent a good majority of its life on my front porch, which is north facing, so it really didn't get very much light, but the color is so much richer. You can see there's some paling leaves down below, but that's to be expected with older leaves. But it's definitely happier than some of my other ones. So honestly, I don't know. It's a work in progress. And then this is my daughter's mint leaf cuttings that she's rooting in water. And here is a little succulent. I have no idea what this is. I don't know anything about succulents. It is looking a wee bit leggy. Now's the time for garden work, apparently. So excuse the very loud background noise. It is a little bit leggy. You can see there's a lot of distance between the leaves. So it probably would do best to go outside, but I'll wait till it's a little bit warmer. This is quite possibly the worst time of day to try to film this. Okay, so I do have a little IKEA greenhouse. Right here, we've got a couple of Peleas. We've got a Philodendron heteroecium. We have a Peperomia obtusifolia cutting, more Monstera adansonii, and then some Cebu blue, because I had a large Cebu blue plant that got root rot. So I just trimmed as much of it as I could to see what I could salvage. So there's some of the cuttings right there. And then over here, I actually have the bucket there. I do run water through this and then water with our Berkey system water for all of our plants. We have a Boston fern. This one's probably the most unusual shaped one because for a long time I didn't even think to rotate it. Wow, this lighting's very harsh. So it doesn't have the typical growth pattern of a Boston fern, but I do typically keep it under here because this is where the kids will get their water. Sometimes when we overfill this will actually flood. So this guy just gets hosed every once in a while and seems to be really happy with it. We have another Monstera deliciosa that is quite happy. We have a little bit of neck ruffling in there, which is really fun. And then a Ficus elastica burgundy. Oh, look at that sheath off of there. Just put out that new leaf. Look how shiny you are. You're so cute. The characteristic burgundy vein on the backside. And that's just a singular one. But I hope that this will grow up to be a really tall tree soon. Oh look, another golden pothos. You can tell because there's a little bit of variegation even though the plant as a whole looks very green. Again, with more sunlight, this gets more variegation. Panning over here, this is a marble queen pothos who just loves her life. Honey, you are too cute. I just love how easy pothos are. They're so rewarding. Yeah, I'm gonna order some bougie plants online every once in a while, but have y'all owned a pothos? Look at that new growth. Look how much white is on there. I don't deserve you. And then we have a Monstera standeliana. This is the one that the cuttings are in my little propagation station. These tend to send off runners. And this is what they would naturally do in the wild, again, to self-propagate. So I did trim in a couple different spots because the runners are getting quite, look at this one, look at that one, quite long. So I do prefer when this one's a little bit tighter, but every once in a while I will let the vines grow a little bit longer. Then panning to the right, we have an autumn fern. This is relatively new. I think I've only had it for a month or two. Tons of spores on the backside, which is cool. That's actually how ferns like this will reproduce. I don't know what to do with them, but you cute. You real cute. This is a cutting of an Aglaonema snow queen. We do have a new growth coming in. This came in with the other two philodendrons, the Mamey and the gloriosum. And once I got it, I was like, oh wait, I ordered a plant that I definitely already own. But that's okay. And then over here we have a ZZ plant. This one has not been giving me a whole lot of growth, well, and a Batmobile. But it is pretty far away from windows, although I do have one upstairs that has definitely given me more growth. But I love this one. They're so easy. They're so easy to care for. They can definitely survive in low light locations. They don't need a lot of watering. They're just happy little beans. And then I do have a singular air plant over there. I love putting air plants in cloches. You can't really see it. That's a fake one. That's a real one. And then accidentally, next to the cute little toilet, we have a money plant, which was just gifted to me, so it doesn't even have a home yet. So right now it's literally just sitting here until I can find a spot for it. Okay, I'm a level with you. The room that I'm in right now is super messy. We're just gonna have a little peeky poo. Yep, super messy. So we're gonna be a lot more conservative about the angles that we're sharing in this room. Okay, we do have an eastern facing window that is quite blocked by our next door neighbor's house, which I personally think is super rude, but whatever. We have a Ficus benjamina, which is in the same like type of plant family as the fiddle leaf fig. Another pothos. This is a false Aurelia. I hate this plant. I hate this plant. Like, I don't know why I kept it. I don't like it. Super finicky. It's like finally has a new growth right there. You can't even see it. It's so tiny, but it just exists. I thought about getting rid of it a lot. I'm sure if you guys are plant collectors, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, I don't really like you, but I know if I give you away, someone's not gonna take care of you and then you're just gonna die. So I should probably keep you even though I don't like you. So that's this guy. A Dracaena cutting in water with an air plant at the top, which is kind of cool because whenever the water starts to evaporate, it actually ends up watering that air plant. And then what was a sad looking Boston fern, but is now popping out a bunch of growth. In my experience, ferns are quite finicky about their environments. A lot of people will say, I don't know what to do. I brought my fern home and then it died. But if you just continue to give it a little bit of love, they will always, always come back. As you can see with this one right here, this room doesn't get any direct sunlight at all. And this is probably one of the darkest rooms in the house, and yet still, it's coming out with new growth. So I personally find Boston ferns to be extremely rewarding. You just have to give them a little bit of time. And then in this very dark bathroom with no windows at all whatsoever, another pothos, and then an itty bitty snake plant that basically is not growing because it doesn't get any sunlight, but I wanted greenery in here. So these are my sacrificial dark room plants. I do swap them out for other ones every once in a while, but to be honest, because I have so many, it's okay. It's okay to put some in darker spots. Okay, so walking on into our room, we got a lot. So buckle up your seatbelts, folks. We're gonna be here for a minute, okay? So we've got some south-facing windows, an east-facing window, and a west-facing window. So just tons of light in that section of the room. But of course, I put some where there isn't tons of light, because that's how I roll. We have a silver aglaonema that, even though it's super far away, just seems to be happy. Look at you, cutie patootie, coming in fresh. We also have a snake plant. I don't know. It's a snake plant. One of the many cultivars. I'm really good at this. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. It's okay. And then right here, we have another ZZ plant because I love them so much. This one's on a cute little stand. And actually put out a bunch of new growth right when I first got it. So even though it's quite far away from some windows, it still seems to be doing great. Like, I've got to find something else to say, otherwise this whole video is going to be me saying stuff like, you're great, you're doing great. All right, panning this way. We have a bird of paradise. This is the one that gets the white flowers. So this is the Nikolai. This was outside for quite some time, and then I brought it in because it was on our north-facing front porch. So just wasn't doing very well. Brought it inside, and now it loves me again. These are the type of plants, though, that like you can't even look at them or breathe in their direction, or they'll split. Like you'd like to think that the leaves just say big and glorious, or maybe they're only torn up because they're outside. No, 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 no. Bring them inside, and they still get mad. They're quite finicky that way, but their beautiful, beautiful large leaves make such a statement. Oh wow, look, another golden pothos. No one saw that coming. Okay, Here's where it's gonna, woof. You ready? Here's where it's gonna get real. We have a Peperomia obtusifolia. This is the one where the cutting downstairs came from. It's a little mama plant hanging out here in the window. We have a, hold on, let's wait for the light to focus a little bit better. We have a Stromanth Triostar, which is, I think, kind of like Calatheas or Maranta of the prayer plant family. So at night, the leaves will actually kind of turn up and then they'll come down for the new day. Here is a Calathea White Fusion. I do not own many Calatheas because they are finicky and temperamental. Okay, maybe we can turn this so the dead leaf isn't just mocking me. Oh, that's okay because there's more dead leaves here anyways. Great. I got this in that shipment that I was talking about a couple weeks ago, and I don't have Calathea very often, or like I don't have very many of them because the humidity needs, and that's just not something I tend to have in my home, is a bunch of high humidity. I do have a humidifier running back there, but sometimes I forget, it runs out of water. So because this Triostar Stromanthi is doing so well, I'm hoping that this one will make a full recovery after shipping, because clearly shipping did this guy a little dirty. We had a new leaf come in, it did not go well, hoping it perks back up. All right, we gotta stand on the couch for this one. This is a Philodendron Melanochrysum longform. Look at her, look at her. These leaves, I can't even get the whole thing in frame. They're just glorious and they've got like a velvety texture to them. Again, from that same shipment, so we've got some damage on the leaves. But a new growth point that's coming in really, really strong because she's really, really happy and I loves her. My pink princess Philodendron. She's maybe labeled a princess, but to me, she's a stinking queen. I did chop this one. Where is it? You can't even see. You can't even see where I chopped it. I think I chopped it right about here originally, and then, let's get it out of this corner so you can see it a little bit better. And then look at all that new growth that it popped out. So sometimes people can be kind of scared to cut plants, but that honestly is a way of getting the plant to send out new leaves. So after I propagated it, I popped it back in this pot, and now she's filling out beautifully. I love her. I'm not normally a huge pink plant person, although I know I've shown you a few so far. They just don't normally speak to me, but there are a few that sometimes I just can't help myself. And with this guy, like, let me see if I can count. We got 1, 2, definitely 2 new growth points, and that one just opened up. We got another one over here, just raging. You were raging right now, and I'm happy for you. Okay. We do have a Monstera deliciosa back there. I know, I have so many plants that I just shove one behind a shelf. What that says about me is I have too many plants. But this new leaf has some mid-rib fenestrations, which are the holes that are right there towards the middle. Look at her, look at her. So I don't think she's gonna stay back here for too long. She's gonna need to come out and party so all of us can enjoy her just a little bit more. Okay, so coming on up here, yes, I am now standing on the arm of my couch. We have a Hoya, which I don't think I've shown too many of these so far. Just the one that's wall mounted. I think this is a Bibliata, who I don't know. But can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that we have, wait for it, a peduncle, ladies and gentlemen. That means that this Hoya is about to flower. I did have another peduncle on this plant and it fell off. So I'm really, really hoping that this actually turns into flowers because they have the cutest little flowers. Towards the back we have another Sansevieria. This is a Bantal Sensation. Just has this really gorgeous white striping to it. So while I'm, I like Sansevierias, I like snake plants. I'm usually not a huge fangirl of them, but this guy, it's just striking. It's just striking, and I couldn't help myself. Moving on over, we have Friedrich, the Alocasia Friedeck. The look, the feel, the color of these leaves, it's not right. It's not fair. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Melanochrysum, but obviously is in a different family. It has the soft leaves and the striking nature of that dark, come on, let's focus, and the striking nature of the dark leaf next to the white veining. Oh, she's so cute. I loves her. Pan over here to another Platycerium bifurcatum, so just your classic quintessential staghorn fern. I love these guys, probably in my top 5. I just love them. They're striking wherever you put them. I will likely mount this one, but until then, you're just gonna stay here happy in your pot. Another string of hearts kind of coming down back here. This is the Peperomia Pink Lady that all of those cuttings have come off of. For the most part, oh, wait, why you gotta be like that? Oh, probably because I put you in the sun. This did not get direct sunlight, and then I moved it here, and now it does. So you can see we kind of got some leaves that were unhappy about that. So I don't know if this could be sunburn, but beautiful, beautiful pink leaves, or some of these are just like, they almost look like they've been hand painted. A piece of the Peperomia prostrata from downstairs that was a cutting, and then I transferred into a new pot. So definitely much more scraggly, but I hope it takes off. It does have a little flower, so it doesn't hate life. All right, then we have another Pelea peperomioides. Huge leaves on this guy, but we are seeing that same paling that we were seeing downstairs, some of the other ones, but also a bunch of babies. So if y'all have any experience with Peleas, do I need to get rid of the babies? Is that what's going on? Is there some sort of deficiency that's happening? Help a sister out, because I love these babies. Clearly, I have about 72 of them. I just wish I could figure them out. And here is my very first Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that is doing brilliantly. I am shocked by how quickly this grows. I chopped it here, and it developed this whole new branch, and this is actually the piece that I chopped that this is a new leaf, and then it's pushing out a new leaf right here. Very, very generously growing plant. I really do enjoy this one. And then my Monstera Thai constellation that does nothing. It takes like 82 months to put out a new leaf. Oh, that got burnt because I had it under the fluorescent lights downstairs. So it takes forever to give me a leaf, and then does nothing for like a year. So thanks, guy. Here is one of my pride and joys. This is Buckbeak. He's my fiddly fig. He's fine. I don't think he likes me as much as I like him. I wish I was seeing more growth. In fact, when people post new growth for their fiddle leaves, I'm like, how dare you, Buckbeak? Come on, sir. Let's do something. You're shoved into a south-facing window. Like, what more do you need from me? You get fertilized when it's fertilizing time, and then you just exist. But still real pretty. Still love you a whole lot, even though you give me nothing right now. Nothing at all. Almost. We're almost done with the bedroom plants, I promise. This is another Ficus elastica burgundy. You can tell because it's got the burgundy veining underneath. This is a neon philodendron. Lemon lime philodendron, I believe, is what it's most commonly known by. Relatively new to the house, seems to be doing okay. I do have another one of these that is struggling, but sometimes I find that certain plants just struggle. You give them everything they need, and they still struggle. More string of hearts, because like I said, I propagate these like crazy with a spider plant baby to encourage root growth from those. I'd like to present to you the cutest variegated string of hearts you ever did see. Also an insanely slow grower. Those are new leaves. This is the first time I've seen new leaves. Why? Why you gotta take forever, my friend? More pothos, because when I first was getting into plants, I separated a bunch of them because I was like, look, there's so many plants in one pot. And then I realized, because that's what makes it look full. So you can tell what some of my earlier choices were because you'll just see like a singular vine in a pot, and that's what that is. These are more of the trimmings from the philodendron heteroseum downstairs. I told y'all that those were some long vines. So chopped them up and plopped them in this pot. Seem to be doing really good so far. My Raven's easy. That has done nothing. It's just existed and been cool. Appreciate you and your goth ways. Okay, now panning on over to this side of my makeup desk. Let's get you out of the sunlight so we can see you a little bit better. Oh, I guess we could do that. Nope. More Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This is yet another cutting that I took off that plant that's kind of over that way. And definitely ready to go in soil. I like to kind of play back and forth with rooting in sphagnum moss or rooting in water. I did read that these prefer sphagnum moss, so that's why I did that with these guys. Looks like he's ready to jump in a pot with his mates. And then right here we have a Hoya Crimson Queen, I think, because I think the Crimson Queen has the white on the outside and the Pink Princess has the white on the inside. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, please. And you can tell the newer growth gets has pink edges to it, much like the Ficus elastica tinike. The white growth will come in pink and then slowly fade to white. Super cute. And look at all these vines just like going rogue, you know? And then all the way down there, a Monstera deliciosa cutting, just chilling in water. This leaf has probably got to go, but I thought it was cute. Okay, this guy. I have nothing against spider plants. I just don't find them to be particularly forgiving. Like when I was saying downstairs, I usually water with Berkey water, so like a water that's been filtered, so not tap water. Does that make me a crazy plant person? Yes, but I accept it. All of this browning is because one time, maybe 2 times, I was like, okay, do I need to use the Berkey water? Like, do I have to? Apparently I do, because the second I started using tap water, this guy went, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. I like the bougie water, not interested in the rest. So I'm hoping for a strong comeback. Not feeling great, though. Not a whole lot of hope in this situation, which is why I keep trimming off babies and plunking them in water with other cuttings, because you're fine, but you're not what you used to be. And it was one mistake. It was one time. And whatever. And then this is the last plant in our master before heading into the bathroom, which is probably gonna take us about 30 minutes. This is I think it's a lemon lime maranta. These are also in the prayer plant family. We do see a little bit of crusting at the end of the leaves. They like higher humidity. They like their soil to remain a little bit more moist, as I'm finding, and are a little bit more sensitive to tap water. So I don't know if this happened in my little short tap water venture or just because I let it get a little bit too dry. But we do have a bunch of new growth that's happening, and the new growth seems to be just fine. So as long as we're giving the bougie water to the plants, they seem to be okay. Oh, okay. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I actually may have to wait until the light isn't coming in through this window, because that's a lot. It's gonna be really hard to compete against that. I might have to do this section tomorrow morning. So, bear with me. Golden Pothos, Scindapsus pictus argyrius, I think I'm saying that correctly. And you can tell this one, or is it Silverian? I don't know, I think it's an argyrius. This is in the same type of plant family, so to speak, as the Golden Pothos. You can see their growth is super similar. A lot of times people will call this a satin or silver pothos, but technically it's a Scindapsus. We got that one here. We have, I don't know if that's technically a burgundy maranta or just like a regular maranta, but we got that there. There's another lemon lime back there. You can see, look at that sad little leaf. You can see it. Actually, I should, yep. I'm gonna get up on the counter, okay. Because I want you to see my shame as fully as possible. Those also could be old leaves. I need to pull that guy down and trim him up. Probably should have done that before filming. But here we are. Another Boston fern. This one was dead, gone and dead, and now seems to be doing just great. I do have 2 grow lights up here to help sustain these plants because they're really far from this western facing window. Another Enjoy Pothos, yet another string of hearts. And again, you can see how thick or how close together those leaves are and how much further apart they are up here. My guess is because this area gets more direct sunlight, the leaves are growing closer together. Back there we have a Monstera adansonii. That was super struggling in another spot, and now it's directly under a grow light and it's just happy, but I don't want to move it because in my experience, they can be finicky. Like they're happy, happy, happy. You make one mistake, just like you. Maybe it's because you guys are so close to each other, but you make one mistake and then you're just rewarded with like a whole bunch of dead growth. Cool, thanks. Thanks for participating. It's been great to have you here. Okay, and then another Boston fern. It's literally growing up to the ceiling, and yet another Golden Pothos, but I think I'm gonna have to get down to show you that properly. Oh look, another tiny toilet. Yay, potty training. Yeah, there's that Golden Pothos for you to see a little bit better. And you can see the Scindapsus is much like the vining monsteras. They will send out runners to self-propagate, so that's what this one's doing. You can tell oops, no thank you. You can tell the leaves up there are much closer together, and then as it's sending out runners, they're much further apart. So I think I'll probably get to the rest of this tomorrow when it's not so horribly backlit, because you can't see them. You can't see them at all, and that's like the least entertaining. So that is it for part 1 of this tour. I'm kind of nervous about what the overall end plant count's gonna be, but we're doing it together, right? Right. There is more to come. There's a part 2 coming. Otherwise, that'd be a very weird title for this video, wouldn't it? If you guys like planty content, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe while you're here because you don't want to miss part 2 of the plant tour when it comes out. So the full circle, the full picture of my plant craziness can be seen by the internet. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I hope you stick around for the next one. And until next time, bye guys.